Hello again, everyone. We are the Vinyl Community Guncles. It's time for another playlist battle, and this is where we take a playlist that someone has created of their one of their favorite artists, and then we decide if our playlist of that artist is better. We change it around, we add our own songs, and then you decide who has the best playlist when it's all said and done in the comments. And you can also tell us what your favorite songs are. This time it's Tom Petty, sometime with Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. I think he only had two albums where it's just Tom Petty, and they sound pretty much the same. So, Tom Petty, and the Heartbreakers. It is the playlist battle. We are the Vinyl Community Guncles. I am Robert Fithen, along with Richard from Calvin Wazoo, Craig from Craig's Vinyl Plethora, and ladies and gentlemen, the man who for some reason decided to go throw water on Patti Smythe in concert, Mike at Hub Tunes.
Yeah, that was me. Definitely.
Right? When she's up there trying to shoot down the walls of heartache, he's up here throwing water on her.
Okay.
Wrong, Patty.
She was wrong, Patty, and she was pissed off. Don't piss off a 7-year-old punk.
Yes, go to Mike's channel to see what that's all about. So it actually is Mike's playlist that starts this. He is the one that came up with the Tom Petty first Tom Petty playlist.
Yeah. I love Tom Petty. One of my favorite artists growing up, hearing those early albums. I just loved them all. Saw him live probably 7 or 8 times. One of the most appreciative artists. I mean, constantly saying thank you. He almost had that aura about him, like he was amazed people were coming to see him. He was terrific live. He always did covers, and I saw him when he did Green Manalishi. I mean, he used to do all kinds of covers and live. And so I went with Tom Petty, an artist that I think a lot of people are really familiar with. So I have almost all his records. I don't have Hypnotic Eye anymore because my ex took that when he moved out. And I don't have the first record, which is really odd because that's one of the first records I ever heard of Tom Petty. So I came up with 17 songs. Weird number, but 17. From Hypnotic Eye, my number 17 is the song Fault Lines. I love it. I just think it's beautiful. I just love that song. You want me to do the whole list? Is that how we do it?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. 16, also from Hypnotic Eye, is American Plan B. Cool song. I love that. Number 15, from his album The Last DJ, which is probably his most controversial record. I mean, not controversial, but he gets he's bitter, he's empowered. He realizes he has a record contract and he can make a statement. Because Tom Petty's music, it's pretty happy-go-lucky for the most part. I mean, there's some, bummer songs, along the way. But he never really voiced a political opinion or much of an opinion on a lot of things at all. But until he got to this, and he talks all about the record industry and how bullshit it is and his feelings towards it. This is a very good record. Very good record. The title song, The Last DJ, great record. I think it was the single too. Probably didn't sell very much.
Well, no, radio wouldn't play it.
Yeah, radio wouldn't. They didn't want anything to do with it. Refugee. Do you want me to show? I pulled all the records. I'm not going to pull them all. I'm going to show them all. I don't know. Refugee, the big hit that changed his life, changed everything. This whole album is great. I mean, that's really just what set him into the stratosphere. Make It Better. I think that's on the second album? Second or third album. Make It Better. Really cool song. This album, number 12, is from a very underrated Tom Petty record. This is Long After Dark, Change of Heart. I love the guitar work on that. This whole album, man... it had the big song. What was it? You Got Lucky. Yeah, You Got Lucky was a big song, but there's a whole lot of deep tracks on here that are really good. The whole thing got a lot of airplay. I love this record. Stranger in the Night is number 11. That's from the first album. The first album is so raw and innocent and very simple. Thank you. Real innocent, just rock and roll. It's just a bunch of guys sound like they're having a good time. I love that record.
Some of it is not the Heartbreakers. Some of it is studio people playing from what I
Yeah,
found
yeah, a
out
lot of
later.
it. Yeah, yeah. They hadn't really even like fully formed as a
Yeah,
band. Yeah.
but Stranger in the Night is based on a the title is Type O, and they just
Oh,
kept it
really?
that way. It's supposed to be Strangers in the Night,
Huh. Wow.
but
I
Right,
didn't know.
because that's what he sings all the way through it.
yeah.
So
Yeah, yeah,
I was
yeah.
kind of confused at the moment that but that's how it is
And
published.
yes, as everybody looks at the keyboard, yes, the D is right next to the S. So.
It is.
Where did I leave off? Break Breakdown number 9. Breakdown, another huge hit for this guy. I mean, and it's such a great song. I still turn up the radio when I hear that song. Just a massive hit. You know, he continues on. Just the beginning of his career is so cool. He's just playing music, you know, and and I think that's the thing that you always get about Tom Petty is he loves what he's doing. You know, he's a musician's musician, dedicated. You know, his band. You know, Mike Campbell was with him his entire career. You know, just a partnership that was just really, really good. The next one comes from Learning to Fly. I like that song. It kind of got overplayed a lot on the radio and MTV and stuff, but I still kind of like it. Yeah, yeah, I still like it. As that, yeah. And then The Waiting, another huge hit in the late 70s, just a huge hit. I love it. Wake Up Time that is my number 6, and that is from Wildflowers. What a beautiful record that is. You know, when they re-released it, I could be doing this, Robert. It's my list. Wildflowers. When they re-released this, when they remastered it and put it on, the full what was supposed to be a double record, I was just thrilled. It sounds great. It's probably his masterpiece. I don't know. I like a lot of his records, but this is wonderful, wonderful record. House in the Woods, a really cool deep track that just kind of gets lost. Really pretty song. I love that. And then number 4 is a song I love all the next 4 songs. I love the song Spike. Got such a good groove to it. I think it got a little bit of airplay, but not much. Just a great song. I just love the groove. Another one, yep. Another
Yeah, I
one.
was really happy to see that on your list. I didn't know anybody really. That's the one about the badass, and you think you're
Yeah.
such a badass, and oh,
Yeah,
we're so scared.
it's such a cool song, and just the groove to it. It's just I love it. And then number 3 is from Long After Dark. Is One Story Town. I dig that song. The guitar, just that classic Tom Petty kind of. It's got kind of that bird sound. It's just a great song. When I made this list, I played that record over and over. And then what did we got? Number 2. It was American Girl. I know it was a huge hit. You hear it all the time. It was everywhere. One of my dear friends is in a band, and she closes every show. She closes that or set with that, and it's great. It gets people dancing. It makes people happy. It's a fun freaking song. And then number 1 is Don't Come Around Here No More. I just love the sitar. I love the video at the time when it came out. I think that's a really underrated album too. I know it gets a little panned on now because he was all doing that old, Southern stuff with the rebel flag. He regrets a lot of that tour, but he's from the South, and that is a Southern accents album. I mean, it is a fun record. Yeah, it's a great record. And Don't Come Around Here No More, it kind of sticks out. It's kind of like the sore thumb on the record. It doesn't sound like anything that he's ever done.
Well, that's the one that was written with Dave Stewart, right?
Yeah, Dave Stewart. Yep.
And then wasn't it originally supposed to be for Stevie? Or is it about Stevie?
I don't know. So that's my number 1. I love it. And just a cool artist. Pure American, just one of the great American artists. And it's always seemed like a good dude too. He just seemed like a laid back, easygoing guy.
I saw him in concert right before he passed away, and it was sad to learn that during that whole tour he was in severe pain.
Yeah.
But that's the only time I've ever seen him is that show. and I think he died less than a year later. He died in 2017, so
Yeah,
it's been
hard to
7 years.
believe.
That's crazy. But yeah, I came up with 18 songs, and it was tough because I could have come up with 30 easily. And the bad thing is I had to leave off a bunch of great album tracks because the hits I like more.
There's
But
so
I didn't
many.
want to make it all
Yeah.
hits, but it ended up being a lot of hits. Because I could have put, Southern Accents, it ain't nothing to me on there. I could have put some of the newer stuff, like When a Kid Goes Bad or Lost Children off The Last DJ. I could have put the Birds cover.
Yeah.
What's the one? Not the Rock and Roll Star. The other one. The
Needles
Feel
and
a Whole
Pins.
Lot Better. Yeah. And You're So Bad, and it just goes on. Something Big. I love that song. But yeah, all that stuff. I could have made a top 30 really easily, but I had to whittle it down to 18 and an honorable mention. And the honorable mention is The Last DJ. Just because I appreciate the song, I don't think I like the song as much as Mike does, but I can appreciate what he's attempting with that song. I just think he doesn't take it far enough. I guess he doesn't tell the full story and kind of puts it in the perspective. Well, all the DJs are gone, and the DJs don't get to play what they want anymore, and that's not really how it was. But I would love to someday make a video and explain all of that, and I'm really hesitant to do that. I'm sure the reason he was too, to tell the full story, because he's working for Warner Brothers and they're one of the culprits. So but people have done videos on it about the whole 1995 Telecommunications Act, and when all of the radio stations were bought up by 2 and 3 companies, and suddenly you have 3 radio companies running the whole show. You have the label consolidation where you had 30 labels before, now you've got 3, and suddenly all rock music just turns to absolute shit. I've talked about it before, but I've never gone into complete detail, and one of these days I hope to do that when I get further away from radio and I know that I'm completely detached from it. I'm never going to work at a radio station again. I will hopefully at that point make some video and explain everything, and I don't know how people are going to react to that, but there are specific reasons why music turned to shit in rock music anyway in the in '96, and then the next year we got coming up is 2004. It's still shit by then, and there's reasons for that. It's not just an opinion. Like I don't like them. I mean, there's actual, and The Last DJ kind of touches on it. Like Rick Beato just put out a video where he kind of touches on it, and Tommy Van Voigt from our favorite channel As It Should Be brought it up one time in 1995, and that's part of it, but it goes further than that. But anyway, that's my honorable mention. So at number 18, I've got the first Tom Petty song I ever heard. I was at this Kmart, and they were going to buy a record for me. Sometimes that happened. They were feeling generous and wanted to spend that $1 on me and buy a 45. In the late 70s, I didn't know anything about rock music. I mean, my brother had some 8-tracks and I had some K-Tels, but I didn't listen to rock radio. I didn't know what popular rock songs were. I knew Kiss, and that was probably it. And I already had the Kiss. So I bought, I decided on this 45 from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Never heard of them, didn't have any idea who they were, but the label looked cool. So that's why I got it, because it's on Backstreet Records, which is a subsidiary of MCA. And it didn't look like any other label, so I'm like, oh, I want that one. And I didn't know which was the A side and which was the B side, so I always played this song called Casadega. So that is my number 18, Casadega from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, and it is not on an album. It is a B side that's only a B side. So
what is the A side?
You'll find out when I get to the A side.
Oh, sorry. sorry.
But it's not a song that's going to blow anybody's mind. It's not like whatever. It's just I had to mention that because it was the first one I ever heard, and it was all by chance, basically. So number 18, Casadega. Moving on to number 17, which is, oh my, oh hell yes, Put On the Party Dress. It's Terry's favorite Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers song, Mary Jane's Last Dance.
Yeah.
Which has a great separated guitar thing going on with the panning like they used to do in the 60s. Great melody and a great story song. The story is a little mysterious, so that's nice. People have their own opinions about what exactly that song is about. But, the video even makes it more bizarre, but it gets played a lot. But I'm not really the kind of person that gets burned out on songs because they're played a lot. I love songs or don't. There is an exception though, and there is a Tom Petty song that got played way too much.
It was
And
not
that
on
is-
my list, was
That
it?
is not on my list, so don't expect to hear that because that song is way overplayed. But yeah, Mary Jane's
It
Last
might
Dance.
be
is
on
really
my
good.
list.
It's probably on my list.
It probably is. At number 16, One Story Town, the lead track from Long After Dark. That is not Long After Dark.
What a great opener too.
Yeah, and the sound is this town is so boring and small. It's only got one story, and that's the story. But yeah, great way to. I'm surprised that wasn't a single. That would have made a great because there's
Right?
not a lot on here. That was. I mean, this
Yeah.
is kind of like a downturn after
Yeah.
Damn the Torpedoes and the what's it, Hard Promises.
What
you
year
got
was
Lucky
that?
and Change of Heart, and the rest of this was
Was
just album tracks.
Deliver Me? I might have been a single too.
We
What
never
year
played
was that?
This is 82.
82?
This
Yeah.
is the one.
82. So yeah, I mean, this is kind of about the era. Like I can't remember when MTV started, but for kids who didn't live in urban areas, and didn't always necessarily have access to what was going on elsewhere, that song really reflects what it's like living in, some of these places.
Yeah.
It was a downturn for him. I think people are expecting bigger. I mean,
Yeah.
the first single was huge, but
But I still really
It's
like
great.
that album. I think it's
I
great.
love it.
15 is a B-side again. Played it on the radio, though. It's called Girl on LSD. And it is from the Wild Flowers sessions. It's actually the B-side
Oh, yeah.
of You Don't Know How It Feels.
Yep.
And the first commercial I ever made. So that's got a special place in my heart as well. But it's a funny song. It's a silly song. Definitely a B-side, but for some reason radio picked up on that and started playing it. And
Weird. It's not on here. I bet it's on because I only got the 3-disc one.
Yeah.
It's probably
it was
on
the single.
It's probably
It
on
was
the 18-disc one.
CD single for You Don't Know How It Feels. It was the B-side of that. But first commercial I ever made was for Rick's Records and CDs in Springfield, Illinois. And the commercial was about how you could get that song there because they have the CD single. So another special place in my heart. Number 14, I Need to Know. If you think you're going to leave, you better say so. I believe that is from You're Gonna Get It, which is the second album. Is it? Yeah, first song on side 2. I Need to Know, kind of like a fun little freak beat song, kind of like a little Beatles type little freak beat, a little fast and wow, wow, screaming like. So it's a fun song. At number what are we at? 13, You Wreck Me, the opening track from, or that's not the opening track. I guess it was one of the first singles from Wildflowers.
Yeah.
Another upbeat, fun song, and used to love playing that. And Tom Petty was great for rock radio too, especially in '95. Like I mentioned, when everything went to shit, music-wise in '95, he was still putting out quality stuff, and it was so great to have that to break up the Bush and Nickelback and Limp Bizkit and Puddle of Mud and just shit like that. I mean, a good Tom Petty song. But
He never made a bad record. Even his final record, which I'll show in a minute, it's just solid.
Yeah, I guess Let Me Up, I've Had Enough was probably about
that's my least favorite.
The lower one.
Definitely my least favorite.
So number 12 is the song Breakdown, but I prefer the live version from Pack Up the Plantation. It's over 7 minutes long, and the whole audience is singing, and he just stops and just lets them sing like the entire first verse. The audience intuitively knows to do the breakdown, going down, breakdown, and half the audience is singing the backup, and half is singing the lead, and he's just like, "You're gonna put me out of a job." But it's a great song, and then he goes into this whole thing about I'm gonna be a man, and I'm gonna take this like mature. I'm gonna act like a mature, and then he goes into a breakdown basically. So I thought that was pretty
great
fun.
live album too.
I love it when audiences do that, at a show. It's a wonderful experience.
So let's see, number 11, Don't Do Me Like That, and that would be the A-side of Casadega. And so that was probably the second Tom Petty song I ever heard, and it's a fun little 2.5 minute song. Big hit, but yeah, I think a lot of people probably wouldn't put that in their top 18. But it's, like I said, special to me. It was the first time I'd heard Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers was that 45, and again, had no idea who they were. Picked up that 45 based on the way the label looked. So where are we at? 14, 13, 12, 11. We are at number 10, which is American Girl, which is from the debut album. I don't know how big this was when the debut album was out. It's the very final track on here.
I don't need
It's had
that.
a couple of different lives.
Yeah.
It got re-released with The Silence of the Lambs, I believe.
Yep.
And then it got re-released again as a single when the Greatest Hits came out.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it actually had a CD single and was back on the charts and was, kind of re-realized, I guess.
Because that debut album did not sell.
No, not really.
Yeah. So I would have guessed,
But that's the way things used to happen back in the day. You would have, you would be able to go back and they would start playing older stuff when somebody got popular. I don't think that happened later on, but like in the 80s or whatever, sometimes stations would go back and start playing older stuff that really didn't make it because we got to play. Prince was like that. They started playing older stuff pre-1999 when Purple Rain was out because they just had to play Prince. They couldn't play him enough. So
10,000 Maniacs were like that.
Yeah.
Nobody listened to 10,000 Maniacs until that acoustic live album came out, and then all of a sudden, all of these DJs started. I did too, but nobody else did.
So number 9 is The Waiting from Hard Promises. A great album cover on this. Tom Petty in an actual record store.
Yeah.
If you have the actual 12-inch LP here, you can see that it looks like whatever this is sort of like bleached out, so you can't read it or you can't see it. That does not look real. But I love the fact that he's just standing here and these 45s and these albums here in a bargain bin and albums up on the wall. I think I don't know is that Conway Twitty up there or something, but I don't know how many record album covers are taking the photos inside a record store. That'd be a great video for somebody to do or a great collage, but that's a great album cover. And The Waiting is the hardest part, and what a relatable song no matter what you're waiting for. The next one is also got Waiting in the title, and that is Waiting for Tonight, which was released as a single off of the Playback box set, which I have somewhere. I should have got that out. It's right over there next to Esther over there. But watch it, sucker. But Playback the box set, great box set too. I don't know if that's on vinyl or not, but the CD's great. All his MCA stuff. But this was a track that they dug up from the old days and then re-released. But it's a great song.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, Waiting for Tonight. It kind of has one of those overblown production things where everything sounds a little distorted and whatever, but I think it's based on a demo or something like that. But it's an upbeat song and brings back some great memories because you don't hear it anymore. And whenever I hear it, it takes me right back to, I don't remember when that came out, probably 98 or something like that, I guess.
Ooh.
But it takes me right back to that time. So number 7 is You Got Lucky from Long After Dark, the second track on here, first single.
Now we've lost Richard.
And one of the first videos played on MTV. One of the first videos, period. I think it was one of the first.
Yeah, it's one of the
first videos where no one is lip syncing.
Oh.
There's no one is lip syncing in that whole video. It's them and they're in some post-apocalyptic thing, and they arrive on motorcycles and find this abandoned building with all this recording equipment in it and instruments and start playing them.
I love that, and they were all wearing like long black coats and stuff, weren't they?
Yeah, they have. Yeah. The motorcycles and the kind of like a Mad Max kind of feel.
Yeah, it was very Mad Max. Yeah.
So that was cool. But yeah, the first video ever shown on MTV or Friday Night Videos where there was no lip syncing at all. So there's your fun fact about that song. Now I've lost my place. Where are we at? We are at Refugee. Which I did hear this as a kid, but I did not hear the Tom Petty version. I heard the Chipmunk version.
Yes.
Oh.
Me too.
And didn't know what an FUG was. What's a fug? I thought they were saying FUG, like it was a dirty word or something. They're
Ah.
you
Yeah,
don't
that
have
was
to
on
live like an FUG.
That was
But,
on the great Chipmunk Punk record.
Yeah,
With,
which there was no punk on there.
None.
The
Tom
great
Petty's
All top
Chipmunk
40 hits.
punk record.
Tom Petty is a punk according to the Chipmunks.
Mm-hmm.
It was
So
great.
we've got it. Now we're into the top 5, which at number 5 is "Listen to Her Heart," which I believe is on this one. It is. It's on the second album. You're going to get
Yeah.
it. It is a song. It's a great song anyway. Standing up for women and whatever. That wasn't really done too much in those days or any other days in rock music. But that is apparently a song that was written about Ike Turner.
Oh.
Yeah. He was hitting on Tom Petty's girlfriend at the time and wouldn't stop. And he was such a sleazeball that Tom Petty wrote a song about him. So, yeah.
And
Richard
Richard
got a
found
thumb
it.
down out of nowhere. Number 4, Even the Losers Get Lucky Sometimes. Yeah, I love that song too. Whatever that is at the beginning of that, where it's just the normal noises in here. What the hell is? There's a lot of that on this album. He doesn't
It's
do
a great
that on
album.
any other albums, but half the songs on here have like bizarre noises in front of them. Shadow of a Doubt, Complex Kids, Sensory City. These are all great songs. Like I said, I could do
It's a perfect record.
a top 40 of Tom Petty and not even have a problem finding great songs. Number 3, Don't Come Around Here No More. Like Mike said, great video for that. I don't know where the CD went. Oh, here it is. Yeah, Don't Come Around Here No More with the whole Alice in Wonderland theme and the music with the sitars and really bringing that back in the 80s. I mean, who thought that would come back in 1985? Apparently, they had to cut 2 frames of that out when they played it on MTV because Tom Petty gives too menacing a look.
Oh. Terrible.
Well, it
He's
is
the
a little
Mad
bit of a.
Hatter. He's
It's
the
kind of a
most
creepy.
menace.
I always thought it was kind of a creepy video.
Well, the part where she turns into a cake and they're cutting her up and
Yeah, that's
Oh, yeah.
right. So at number 2, a great driving song, "Running Down a Dream." Just a really fast, upbeat, just flying down the highway and trying to fly down a highway and get to your dream, I guess. But I like that. The first time I heard that, I'm like, wow, I gotta get that. That's the sealer on that. I've got to get that.
Yeah, it's a good song.
Yeah, the great guitar riff and all of that. And my absolute favorite Tom Petty song of all time is "Learning to Fly." Coming down is the hardest part. Ain't Got Wings. I mean, what a great album. I could have also had Into the Great Wide Open, the title track on my list somewhere. That's a great song. But yeah, "Learning to Fly," not to be confused with Pink Floyd's "Learning to Fly." Which was
No one would ever confuse those.
Yeah.
I didn't know
but
Pink Floyd had one.
whatever that is, the birds or seagulls or whatever at the end, and just
The
the guitar riff, the whole feel of that song is just magical.
yeah.
It's a
But,
good
yeah.
video as well. I mean, I liked the video when I was watching
Yeah, from
and listening to
1991.
some of these.
So that's my playlist.
Well, my playlist is kind of upside down to yours, Mike. I mean, a lot of the songs that you had at the top, I had down lower, and then a lot of the songs you had down lower, I had at the top. Some of them are, similar, but I'll probably be hated for this. But
Tom
I
Petty.
do not like Southern accents.
Mm.
So your number 1 song, "Don't Come Around Here No More," did not stay on my list. But it's my least favorite. I mean, there's some good songs on here, but it's my least favorite Tom Petty album. And in fact, if somebody wants it, I'll send it to you. Because I really don't listen to it at all. There were 2 other songs that I kind of bumped off the list, was "Make It Better" and "Spike." Yeah, they just didn't do it for me.
Make It
Spike, to me, I listened to it and there was something about the vocals that kind of bugged me a little bit. But also, I just kind of thought, this is a song that a lot of other people had done. I didn't think that's just how I reacted to it. And there were other songs that I wanted to put in this list So I had to, had to remove some. So at number 18, I got American Girl, which, kept getting bumped down because as I was going through and listening to other songs, because it's a really good song, but there, other songs really, came forward. I am more of a Tom Petty hits person, as well as opposed to the deep tracks. I mean, there are some deep tracks that I really like. I will mention, though, that my number one song is one that I never knew about until I went to your list, and it turned out to be my number one song. The Waiting at number 17, a great song. First replacement to come in, though, is Even the Losers. I always liked that song.
Yeah.
Even the Losers. Tom Petty was one of those, also one of those singers that I wanted to sing along with him, but I couldn't quite do it. My voice just couldn't stretch sometimes to get that same sound as he did. American Plan B, I have at number 15. It's a song I was unfamiliar with, but I really do like it.
Yeah.
And then Running Down a Dream at 14. I mean, I just always remember that's probably one of the earliest songs I remember listening to. And then at 13 is Breakdown. I just love that. That if I got the right song. Sometimes I mix things up, especially after I have an IPA.
Oh, you're all
Sometimes I have when I have an IPA. Then at number 12, I have Don't Do Me Like That. It's just got a fun rhythm to it. I've always liked that song.
I didn't have that on my list, did I? That just goes to show you.
No, you do have it on your list. I think you skipped it.
Yeah, no, I didn't have it on there. Yeah, I easily could have.
Then let's see. Number 11 is Change of Heart. A lot of the kinds of Tom Petty songs that besides the hits, the ones that I also really like are the ones where he's singing about how relationships shift, how relationships end, how relationships, weaken or whatever. He just has a way of telling a story with many of these songs that are you connect with them. They're told in a way that I think a lot of people can relate to. All right, so Change of Heart. All right, so going in number 10 is Free Fallin'. That song, I just always loved Free Fallin'. It was just, just loved listening to it. It would be a song that if that I would, put on repeat. It's really good one. Now, The Last DJ, that was a song I was unfamiliar with, but yeah, I got that at number 9. Really good song, and I like some of that is the song where it's about the DJ who goes across the border, right?
Mexico.
Yeah. I just again like that kind of story. Like you were talking about, Robert, how radio just it wasn't playing new music. When you were talking about that, I was thinking of a quote where Frank Zappa was saying, in the early days, the record company execs, they'd be these guys in suits chomping on a cigar, and they'd go, "Yeah, what the hell? We'll put it on a record. Maybe the kids will like it." But now he blames it on all these young hip people coming into the record companies going, no, this isn't going to work. No one's listening to this. Like they were already like second guessing audience tastes based on trends and fashion and things like that. Number 8. I really
want to make a video someday.
The number 8, Strangered in the Night. Jim Gordon plays drums on that.
Yeah.
And in fact, he plays drums, I think, if not the entire album, quite a bit of the album. Troubled Soul, Jim Gordon. But man, what a drummer. Such a good drummer. The number 7, House in the Woods. This was a song that I was unfamiliar with. I really liked that song.
Great song. What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 6, I have Learning to Fly. Uh, really enjoyed not only the song, but I kind of liked the video too, and what was going on with the way the setting and everything that they were doing with that. Number 5, One Story Town. I'd already talked about this, but man, this describes exactly the town I grew up in. It really did, and it's just such a good song. It was really high on my list, except the next 4 songs kept bumping it down. And number 4, it's a hit. You Got Lucky, but it is such a poignant song, and it rubs right up against being too full of himself, but he's not. He's just being matter of fact. You got lucky, babe, when you met me, and it's just very straightforward on that. Then number 3 is Fault Lines. I love the snarl that's in the guitars, and then toward the end you get this ethereal harmonica.
Yeah, it's cool, right?
Man, that is really, really good song.
Yeah, I almost put that a lot higher, but then like the hits started coming into my list. And
Right.
It dropped and dropped, and I was like, it's got to be in my top 17. And I
Yeah.
felt bad putting it because I love that song.
And number 2 is a big hit, Refugee. I always love that song. But the number 1 song is one that I learned about from your list.
Oh, good.
And I really, really do like it. I think it is definitely, all the others are like really close and could move around, but this is really my favorite one. And that's Wake Up Time. I'm not familiar with that particular album, but that song, Wake Up Time, and I think House in the Woods is from that album too.
That's Wildflowers.
Yeah, those are both really, really good songs. But Wake Up Time to me is like, I had House in the Woods as number 1 for a while, but then Wake Up Time to me is just,
it's a beautiful
so
record, and especially the expanded. It was supposed to be a double record. When it came out, and the record company said no, we're not doing that. And
but Metal Machine Music double album.
Yeah, but don't worry, we're gonna put out Metal Machine Music. But yeah, it's such a wonderful record. It's definitely his masterpiece.
Yeah. So that's my list of 18 for Tom Petty.
Wow. Oh, wait.
You know what's interesting? I'm noticing that I skipped the Jeff Lynne produced records. I have nothing from the Jeff Lynne stuff, and I always thought Tom Petty did a good job of. I'm not a fan of Jeff Lynne's production, but Tom Petty was always one that kind of got over. Like they kind of complemented each other,
right?
But yet I don't have any songs from the solo album, or I think he also did "Let Me Up," that one, which is also a solo. No, that's a Heartbreakers record. But I didn't have any songs from any of those records.
I think the "Let Me Up" is probably the lesser album that I don't.
It's my least favorite Tom Petty.
Yeah, it's my least favorite too.
Yeah,
and you could also mention, the Traveling Wilburys. He was a big part of that, and
huge.
All those songs. Those are great songs on there too, like "Into the Line" and.
Yep.
Yeah.
Craig.
I noticed another thing that's been left out that's been on no one's list. We'll see if it's on Craig's.
We'll find out, right?
Yeah.
So I kept 6 of Mikey's songs. And I actually have a list of 17. So wowee. I'm not hugely familiar with Tom Petty, but as I was going through and looking at stuff, I was like, oh, there's more songs than I actually really realized that I actually know. So I will say, for the record, I cannot stand American Girl. I have never liked that song. Like it's not on my list. But and this one almost wasn't, because it's almost there with American Girl, but I like it. So number 17 for me is Refugee. And Melissa Etheridge covered that song.
She
Fun
did.
fact for you.
Good version too.
Yeah, it's not horrible. I
Right.
mean, I like it, but number 16, Breakdown. I didn't write the albums down. I just wrote the years. I don't know why. From 1976. Also from 1976, Strangered in the Night. Strangered, yes. Let's see. From 1981, The Waiting. I like that one a lot. Here Comes My Girl. 1980. I don't know why I didn't write the albums down. I just wrote the years.
You do what you want.
Number 12. And this song is just so great. Running Down a Dream. So it is
Not on
so
my list.
there's just something you just kind of
It's
get
great.
immersed. It's so good. Number 11 would be You Don't Know How It Feels. Because you don't know how it feels to be me. From
think-
is that Wildflowers?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Okay. I think
we're
I
the only
need to
ones
get that album.
on the list.
Robert mentioned it, didn't he?
No, I said
Oh.
that "Girl on LSD" was the B-side.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But I mean, that's
Great
another song
song.
that I would have put on if I
It's
had more than
such
18.
a good song. 10. You're So Bad. You'll notice that you'll see that a lot. So 9 would be Learning to Fly. Thank you. And number 8, Into the Great Wide Open.
Oh, yeah, that's a
I
good-
don't know why nobody mentioned this song. It's so amazing.
I forgot
I
about that.
love it.
Into the Great Wide
Number-
Open. I would have
number-
put that on my list,
no,
but I only
no.
had 18.
No, number 7. Like
Oh.
no, like I cannot believe you've mentioned the album has been mentioned a lot, but the title track Wildflowers. Like
Yeah.
that, it is so good.
Great song. Yeah.
It is so good, and Miley Cyrus covered it as well.
Oh well, there you go. I was
That's-
wondering how we were
that's-
going to get around to.
Yeah, I got to get around to Miley. His is so much better, but she actually did a very nice acoustic version of it.
I've heard it. It's actually really good.
It actually really, really is good. Number 6, I Won't Back Down. Also from,
Yeah, first time
Yep.
that song was mentioned.
Yeah.
yep, it's
Huge
so,
hit.
hey baby, it's so good. This is also another one that wasn't mentioned. I don't know what album. 1981, duet Insider with Stevie Nicks.
Yeah.
It's so good. It is so good.
It's also on the live album too.
So it's on the one with the records on it. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, it's also
All right.
on this. And I think
Oh,
she
it's on-
joins him on this.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, a really, really, really great song. And of course, they're just so brilliant together.
They were
I
wonderful.
really love their voices together. They're just fantastic. But I feel like maybe both of them, but Stevie, I feel like almost can compliment almost anybody.
When he passed away, her statement that she released was heartbreaking, but yet so beautiful. I'm sure you can Google it, but I
Okay.
just remember I was just like, oh my god, it was like she had just lost a husband. It was so
Mm.
sweet.
Yeah. Number 4, Free Fallin'. Also, that same one that we keep. I really need to get that. I don't know why I don't have it. And the Wildflower ones. I'm assuming. I'm understanding here. Number 3 would be Don't Come Around Here No More. Don't come around here. It's so good. It is so good. I know it's a duet. It's not on any of his, but yes, number 2 is Stop Dragging My Heart Around.
Yeah,
with
That's
Stevie
the
Nicks.
song I was talking about that nobody's mentioned, and I wondered if you would mention that.
Well, I mentioned it at number 2. I love it.
Yeah.
It is overplayed. It is
God, I haven't
both
heard
of theirs,
any of
like their most overplayed song for both of them, but there's just
Terry's
something
second
about
favorite.
it. Yeah. What?
Terry's second.
Oh,
favorite.
that's his second favorite?
Yes.
Okay.
Damn it, Trey.
I think Terry and I are like, because I think you said this was his favorite. So number 1 for me is Mary Jane's Last Dance. That I love it so much. Johnny Depp's in the video, right? Or is that the
That's
or
Into
is
the
that,
Great Wide Open.
Into
I don't
the
know
Great
if
Wide
he's
Open,
in that
okay.
one too.
He
That's
was
the
in
one with Kim Basinger.
yeah, he's in a few of their videos, isn't he?
Oh,
He's
okay.
in
I
more.
don't
He's
know.
in more than one, I believe. I could be completely wrong. Comment down below. But yeah, that song. Oh yeah, got to put on that party dress. I get very happy every single time I hear that song. That. So
No
there
one
you
mentioned
have it.
anything off of the "She's the One" soundtrack,
Or
Oh,
or that
a
one.
Highway
what
Companion,
it?
the Jeff
What it?
Trim produced record. This is also this. I think this is his final record, and this is Mojo. This
Yeah,
is
Yeah.
this is a good record. It didn't. I don't think it sold a lot, but
No.
it's very bluesy. It's almost swamp music. It's just got
Hmm.
that swampy kind of country feel to it. It's a really really good record. So yeah, and I didn't have anything from that on there either. But what an artist! I mean, he my number one favorite concert memory of all time. I was at Austin City Limits, and he was the headliner on the second night, and there was a storm rolling in, and you could just feel it in the air. When a storm is coming, you can smell it. And he came out, and he was jamming, 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 and the lightning was like flashing in the sky over us, and the thunder was like shaking the ground, but no rain. And he starts playing
Oh,
Green Manalishi, the Fleetwood Mac song, and he's jamming it, just jamming it, and he's basically just waiting for the rain to start. And all of a sudden, the skies just dump on us. This whole fucking place absolutely drenched. We had to run. We had to run, and we actually climbed up on top of the porta potties to wait out the rain. And he had
oh
to stop playing.
wow.
He had to stop playing. It was such a horrible storm. And we sat on the top of these porta potties while everybody else is just covered with mud. They're all running for their cars, and the place cleared out. And he comes back on and finishes the show. He did about maybe 45 minutes, and we jumped off of those porta potties and ran all the way up to the front of the stage. It was wonderful freaking night. It was just magical. I was there with my good friend Bruce, and yeah, it was terrific. I also, one of my worst concert memories was when Tom Petty backed up Bob Dylan.
Oh,
Yeah, it was the Heartbreakers backing up Bob Dylan, and that was not a good night. But wow.
Yeah, he was Dylan and the Dead too. Was another
No, that was even worse.
thing that
That
was
was even
not
worse.
well received.
Yeah, no, that was worse than Tom Petty. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, those are our Tom Petty playlists. I guess we're all winners when it's Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, and so many hits. I mean, it's like
So
some
many.
of us only had the one, but they're all so. And there's probably nobody said "Jammin' Me." That was another big song.
Yeah.
Nobody mentioned that. Nobody mentioned. Somebody did mention "Here Comes My Girl," right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was probably the only really big song that
I
hit that
forgot
nobody mentioned,
about what did Craig just mention? I
Stop
forgot
Dragging
about
My Heart Around. But
Craig
some of the later ones
I
like
won't back
Walls
down. I
and
forgot about I won't back down. I always think that's a Traveling Wilburys song. It just
Yeah.
has
oh,
that Wilburys feel. A Face in the Crowd is great. Yeah.
yeah.
There's a lot of good.
We could do a
Feel-
whole
Feel-
other video and come up with another, like another 18. I mean, he's
Possibly,
just
yeah.
so.
Feel a
And
whole
he
lot
seems to
better.
cross a lot of different, borders as far as people's personalities and their outlooks on life and their whatever. I mean, all.
Mhm.
You've got the hippies love him, the bikers love him, the country people love him,
Country
rock
people.
people love him, pop people love him, mellow people love him, rockin' people
Yep.
love. I mean, it's just like he was somebody who I think was really reached out to a lot of different people musically, and I don't know if we would have that anymore. I mean, it would be so divided. Somebody would find something negative or whatever, and that'd be the end of it.
Absolutely,
You
man.
have to divide everybody up. But yeah, that's our Tom Petty playlist. So coming up, we have the year 2004 in review, or give our tops
Do we?
and bottoms of that year.
Mhm.
Wow, I've already tried that. It's tough to find some. It's as tough to find some tops in that as it is in a Twink bar. 2004. But yeah, we have a Man on Man. Speaking of which,
Yes, at a
album
Twin Car.
review, Providence Town. Did I just say Providence?
You did.
Province.
And we have a playlist battle next time. Will be Richard's playlist for Neil Young.
Yeah.
And that is quite a wow. Come on.
Yeah.
How many albums does that guy have?
I can't.
Good thing we're not doing album countdown or whatever. But
Thank God.
I probably won't even listen to any more Neil Young. I will already have 18 songs ready to go without.
Yeah, I
having
think.
So there's albums I haven't even heard. Like I've never heard a lot of the later stuff, that just more recent stuff. But I think I've heard everything up until probably 2000. I mean, I've even heard like Broken Arrow and those, ones like the Mirror Ball that nobody likes but me, and for some reason.
It'll be all new for me.
I kept it accessible, I think, for you, Craig.
Yeah. Well, thank God I only have to listen to 18 songs. So, I might. Go ahead.
What?
I was going to say I might something, but yeah. Mm-hmm. That's what's next.
Yes, that is all coming up and so much more. Won't you please join us for these exciting episodes that are on the way? And go now and listen to some Tom Petty. Check out Casadega and be like, why would this be on anybody's top?
Listen to Long After Dark. It's a great record.
Change of Heart, I don't think was anybody's. Was that on somebody's list? That's another great song.
I don't think so.
No, I didn't have. Yeah, I had it. It was my number 12.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Underrated Tom Petty.
Listen to the live version of Breakdown. Listen to it all. Listen to all 4 playlists, and then more and more. Listen to the playback box set. Listen to the deluxe Wildflowers. There's so much. Thank you so much for watching. We are the Vinyl Community Guncles. I'm Robert Fitton, along with
Richard at Calvin Wazoo.
Craig's Vinyl Plethora.
And Mike at Hub Tunes.
Hopefully we'll talk to you again soon.